I want to ask you one question. Do we need government? If your answer is yes, then tell me the reason why. If your reason is, who will run things without a government? Okay, think about what you do in a day. At what point in your day do you need government? You might say, well, the police make my community safe. That's government. I mean, the government pays the police, right? But think about it. It's not government paying the police. It's you paying the government and the government paying the police. We paid the government $1 and they give the police officer 3 cents of that dollar. The rest is going to bureaucratic crap. You may say, well, we need that bureaucratic crap. Really? What for? I mean, what did it accomplish? Is what it accomplished worth half of your income? Is it worth waking up 6 months a year for free after paying all your taxes combined? Is it worth it to have that bureaucratic mess that may have helped in some way that you can't even pinpoint? Firemen in your community, same thing. $1 to government, 5 cents to the fireman. I mean, it's a fire. We call the fire department. They come with water and put out the fire. You tell me what else needs to be involved. People think that government is needed, but they only think that way because, we're born and raised in a world with government. We don't know any other way. People think the world is a complicated place. We need government in order to sort out this complicated world. Look, the reason the world is complicated is because of government. The bigger the government gets, the more complicated of a mess this world gets. I'll ask you a question. Was the world more simple or more complicated 20 years ago? Let's say the year 2000, okay? It was more simple back then. It's more complicated now, but, there's more rules, government's bigger, there's more laws, they got nothing better to do than make more laws. So in the year 2000, many governments around the world were half the size they are today. What about in the 1980s? Even more simple than in the year 2000. Guess what? The government was smaller in the 80s than it was in 2000. The same thing in the 70s. Even smaller then, and the world was a much simpler place. Are you understanding what I'm saying? It seems like the smaller government gets, the easier life gets for you and I, the real people, the people on the ground floor. The bigger it gets, the more cumbersome life becomes. Look at all the inflation we're going through now. I mean, they're supposed to be managing all this, right? So why are food prices going up? It's all because of government. They don't know what they're doing. So should we make government bigger or smaller? Or just get rid of it? Regular people could just run this planet much more efficiently than these guys can. Are you worried without government you won't get your Social Security check? Look, money is sent to your bank account. That's Social Security. Do we need 20,000 people sitting in offices and buildings to send money to your bank account? I mean, a computer can do it for free. You are a citizen. You're of age. Send the money electronically to your bank account. Why does it need 20,000 people to oversee it? All those people just complicate everything. The objective of this channel is to wake you up to the fact that government is just not necessary. We can have systems in place to run things. Who's going to oversee the system of running things is what you're asking. It's a tough question, isn't it? When I was young, I was a member of a golf club, okay? It was a country club, with golf and tennis. I remember asking my mom as we walked down the hallway, who are all these men? It said Jack Smith, 1980 to 84. Walter Carlisle, 1984 to 88. These were volunteers. They cared about the country club and they volunteered to manage it. I asked my mom, how much do they get paid? Nothing. It's volunteer. Now, who would volunteer to work for free? Well, do you care? Do you care about your streets, your neighborhood, your city, your state, your country? I mean, do you care about these things? I think there's always people who care. People think, there's a lot of work involved. No, it's all very simple. It's just government making everything overly complicated. You have a pothole on your street. What do? You call someone, they come and fill it in. The government is just full of nonsense. It's nonsensical bullcrap. My friend's sister has a job in the provincial government in Canada. Her job is to fly around the province of Ontario, visit all the places that are funded by taxpayers, and her job is to make sure people are actually working, doing what they say they'll do. These places are a lot of, it's like giving teens a job kind of thing. It's good intention, you're going to say. Well, teens should have jobs. Okay, Is this such a complicated thing? I mean, a job is posted online and you apply for it. Why are you renting offices in expensive towers in downtown and hiring people and giving them a nice pension and vacation time for what? So they can help you write a resume? I mean, just make a video telling people how to write a resume and tell them where to apply. It's done. It's just one example of 10,000 things that government is making complicated. We can have police and fire and everything can run just as it is now, with the only difference being we don't overpay a government while they underpay the people who are actually doing the work. My mother was a nurse in a hospital. She says over her 20 years nursing, the different departments and bureaucrats and office workers all grew exponentially, except the nurses. Nurses stayed the same. They got overworked. All these people, she's rolling her eyes, these people who weren't actually doing the dirty jobs, they were growing. They couldn't hire enough human resource workers. Government is stealing our money and telling us what to do with our lives. So ask yourself this question. Do we need government? If yes, okay, comment below and tell me why. Tell me why. And I'll tell you exactly why it's completely unnecessary and why it's time for you and everyone else to wake up and start asking the question nobody has ever thought to ask. Do we need government? Please share this message to people you know. Comment any questions below. Hey, we can do this, okay? I'll be making more videos that ask the question, do we need them?